Thank you, everybody, for joining me. I'd like to call the December 14th, 2020 regular board meeting to order. If you could all start by joining me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
of America
and to the
and to the republic
for
for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God, indivisible,
with liberty
liberty,
and
justice for all.
Thank you. All righty. So to start with, we're going to take a look at the minutes for the regular board meeting November 9th, the special meeting December 7th, and the revised minutes of the regular board meeting on September 14th. So if there are no questions, if I could get a resolution to approve those minutes.
I'll make a motion that the Board of Trustees approve the minutes of the regular board meeting on November 9th, 2020, the special meeting on December 7th, 2020, and the revised minutes of the regular board meeting on September 14th, 2020.
Second that, Bob?
Bob seconds.
Unanimous.
Mute. Go.
Okay, and now if we could move on to the treasurer's report.
Good evening. I'd like to present the treasurer's report for November 2020. If you could please turn to page 2. The beginning balance for the month of November was $5,217,665.10. Our total receipts for the month included $2,102,833.67. Our total disbursements for the month were $1,577,235.80, making our end balance for November 2020 $5,743,262.97. If you could please turn to page 3, you'll see on our cash flow summary that we did receive our TAN proceeds of $2,008,205. And that concludes my treasurer's report for the month of November 2020.
Are there any questions, Tim or Bob, or anybody else?
Not from me.
If not, then could I have a resolution to approve the treasury report?
I'll make a motion that the Board of Trustees approve the treasurer's report for the month of November 2020.
Second that, Bob? Unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Now we'll move on to correspondence.
Do we have correspondence this month?
We do.
Can you please read the correspondence?
Read it, or who usually does that?
I can read it. You have a thank you from Linda. It says, Dear Len, Bob, Sean, and Tim, thank you for honoring me with a very special proclamation in honor of my retirement. Words cannot express the deep gratitude I feel working alongside each one of you. The district remains a shining star because of all of your dedication, values, and hard work each and every day. To say I was truly humbled when the Assemblyman Theo presented the proclamation to me is an understatement. As I remarked that evening, Tuckahoe School is very special and will remain forever in my heart and part of my family. May you stay well and healthy. Enjoy the upcoming holidays. Linda.
Thank you. All right. Wonderful. Thank you very. Is that all the correspondence? It is, right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now if we can move on to the superintendent's report. Len?
Okay. As we look at our total enrollment, when we started the school year, we began the year with 488 total students. As of this moment, we are at 491, which is 2 down from last month, but we are 1 up in the building. We are 288 students that are currently in the building. We have 154 that are in other public schools and 49 that are in private schools. That's 2 less, or 1 less in public schools and 4 less in the private schools, for a grand total of 491 students. We still have 6 folks that are homeschooled students, so it is a grand total, including the homeschooled students, of 497 school-age children in our district at this moment.
Len, on the enrollment update at Tuckahoe physically itself, the 288, did you say that that's up to from the beginning or down?
That is, we began the school year with 289.
Gotcha. Okay,
But last month we were at 287 and we picked up one kindergarten student this month. So we are up to 288.
gotcha. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
What else here? Okay. Len, do you carry on with item 2 and 3, or who's doing
Yes,
that?
I will continue to go. Any other questions on the enrollment?
How many are remote right now?
The exact number of remote I don't have in front of me, but it is, we are down substantially, about half of what we began the school year with. About half of our students have come back. We're somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 students who are on remote.
Okay, so I guess my question is, after the first quarter, about 50% of those kids came back?
Just about half, yes, a little bit less than half.
All right, good.
And we have been working diligently with those folks at home, both the students and the parents. We have created a brand new, if we go full remote schedule, so that everyone in the building is totally covered. We will have both live instruction for all of our students pre-K through 8. So we are very proud of our teachers. We are very thankful to our teachers and to our administrative team for working so hard to create this schedule and making sure that everyone is very well taken care of, while at the same time also ensuring that it's not 100% of your day stuck to a screen. So there's family time built into everything as well to make sure that our students are getting that. Very, very well done. So I thank them for that.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. And while we were on these thank yous, we've got a couple special ones to send out this month. And the first one is to the PTO. They did an amazing job once again with our Thanksgiving feast. As you know, we're not eating in the cafeteria any longer, but we did have our Thanksgiving feast and it was presented to all of our students in the classrooms. So they had turkey, they had stuffing, they had mashed potatoes, they had corn, they had pumpkin pie. I mean, it was absolutely phenomenal. They did a great job and I want to thank them for that, because that is one of the highlights of our year every year. And it was nice that even during these times, we were able to have that meal and share with everyone. I will also thank them for the holiday gingerbread houses, because each year at around this time, we stay after one night and we decorate our gingerbread houses. In this case, they bought a gingerbread house for every single student in the building and sent them home with them last Friday so that they can decorate them all at home with their families. It's just a phenomenal thing that our PTO does, both of those things. And I want to make sure they get enough credit for that. And we thank them for both of those things. This year, we also have the Shinnecock Nation to thank this month, especially the Girl Scouts of the Shinnecock Nation. The Girl Scouts donated art supplies to both Tuckahoe and the Southampton school districts for some of our students to have art supplies at home that didn't have them. And we are very thankful to them for that, because as you know, our art department is a great place for our students to take some of their stress and put it into their art and, you know, get some of their things out. And we are very thankful that these supplies were delivered and were able to go to their homes so that they have them there as well. So thank you again to the Shinnecock Nation, and especially the Shinnecock Nation Girl Scouts. Number 4 on our list is a renovation update. We've been discussing the possibility of renovating the house to make sure that it doesn't fall into complete disrepair, and to create space within our building so that we can still continue to socially distance and be able to bring more students into the building. And in the future, once social distancing ends, which will hopefully be soon, we will be able to use that space in order to bring back some of our special education students who we've been sending to other districts and to BOCES, and to be able to keep them in-house and actually better their education, because they're here with their community and their friends. And they're also able to save us some money by not sending them to these other districts. So in doing that, we have been looking at numbers, and we have a renovation project of approximately $78,000 for all of the construction for inside and out of the house, except for the roof itself. The roof itself will run at approximately $14,000, but that we believe is a high number. So we're going to continue to look at the house, at the roof, and to get a few folks in to take a look at that, because 14,000 is a high number for the amount of shingles that we need and the amount of square. To do the entire electric, redoing everything inside the house, bringing in a 200 amp service, burying the electric, no longer having above ground wires, phone, cable, and again, everything being underground. It would be about 34,000 for the inside of the house, and then the 200 amp and everything underground, including the phone and cable, is about $7,000. So combined, it's about $41,000. And we are now waiting for, we did get one estimate for the plumbing, but we believe that estimate to be very high. So we are looking at some other folks who have done work for us who are on BOCES contracts that will be coming in to give us estimates on that. If we're not happy with those prices, we will put it out to bid and get prices from there. But right now we're looking at 78, 14, and 34. And now all we need is the plumbing and heating to come in. So it is our estimate that we should be able to do everything within that house for under $250,000. And as we discussed with the bringing back of some special ed students, we would be making more than that each and every year back. That would be coming back to the district rather than sending it out each and every year. So we will continue to update you on that as we move forward and get those prices. But I would think it is safe to look in the neighborhood of $250,000 to $300,000 to be able to do everything that needs to be done on that house. Any questions on that?
Is there any, special, like when you're doing renovations to, is that considered a school building, or would it be now that you're doing that? And do you have to follow different rules or the same rules that you'd follow for our physical building itself?
It is another building on school property, but it is not a school building. So there are certain circumstances that we have to follow the codes that go with schools, especially as it relates to handicap bathrooms and handicap ramps and things of that nature. But because it's not a school district and not a school building, and students are not a part of it throughout the day, we don't have to follow every single one of the rules of the schools. But we will be working with our contractor, our architect, and the states to make sure that we are abiding by each and every one of those rules.
Okay.
Do we have to make application to the town for these renovations?
We will, yes. All of that will have to be done. We will have to, the first thing that will happen once we decide that, yes, we are going to go ahead and go forward, once I've given you all the prices and we've done all the comparisons, if we decide to move forward, what will happen is we will send something to the state for approval first. Once we get the approval from the state, we will send things to the town to get the approval to move forward with each of those pieces, and then it'll just go very quickly from there, hopefully. The state is the one that will take the more time, I believe.
Okay.
All right, I'm good with that issue.
Okay, moving along to the Southampton School District contract. As you know, this is the last year of a 5-year deal with the Southampton School District on our contract to send our high school students there. We have sent a couple of invites over to Southampton to set up a date so that we could get started negotiating on a new contract. And we are hoping that we will be able to set something up for the first week when we return from the holiday vacation as quickly as possible, because as you know, we do have to vote on this. So we have to make sure that it's part of our budgetary vote. So
How soon do we have to vote on that?
we have to, well, you only want to do one vote. So we don't want to have a separate vote because that costs us a lot more money. So we want to do it at the same time that we do our budget vote. It will be one of the resolutions to go ahead and approve the contract between Tuckahoe and the Southampton School District, should we decide to remain with the Southampton School District and do things that way.
Exclusively?
If we were doing it exclusive, it would be a resolution to do it exclusively with Southampton. If the board were to choose to open it up to multiple school districts, then we would be putting forth a resolution to approve the ability for the school to use multiple school districts. Either way, it does have to go to the vote.
Understood.
It has to go to a public vote.
It has to go to a public vote, yes.
All right.
On that note, going towards the 2020, or excuse me, the 21-22 budget planning, the community each year has been a part of what we do, and we get their input at all of our meetings. So we want to make sure that that continues. But what I wanted to ask you all is if there were any associations that you believe it might be helpful. We have a few folks that come every year to the meetings, but I mean, I would personally like to be able to get more input from more people. So if there are any community organizations that you believe might want to hear from me and Carl, we would be happy to go and answer questions and do anything, or go anywhere you would like us to go to do that and answer their questions and really give them a full understanding of what we've been doing, why we've been doing it. In looking at our current budgeting, if we can continue down the path that we are looking at, it is our goal to have a 0 tax increase to the budget this year. So we would be voting on a 0% tax increase or less. That is our ultimate goal for this year. As you know, in the past, I have said that I was hoping to get a negative budget each year, even though we started off with a positive budget and the vote went to a positive budget. Each year for the last 2 years, we have gone down. 2 years ago, it was minus, I believe, 0.26. And last year, I believe it was minus 0.65 or 0.68 actually. And what I am hoping is that we will actually go to a vote this year of 0 or minus. That is our ultimate goal for this year. But we, of course, would love to hear input from more of our folks out there and ways that they believe we might be able to do things even better, whether it be through savings or whether it be through more revenue coming in. So any ideas they have, we would love to hear.
Okay.
The next thing on the list is the formation of an equity and inclusion coordinating committee. As you know, this is something we've really been working on the last few years, trying to make sure that there is equity and that we've included more folks within our decision-making process and within our ranks in the school, whether it be males, females, whether it be African Americans, Hispanics, or white folks working in the school. We want to try and make sure that we are more inclusive and that there is equity in the things that we are doing. It is also a big push throughout the state and the nation. And there is a, you will look a little bit later, there is a manual, a policy manual update for equity, inclusivity, and diversity in education that you will be doing a first reading on. And when we go ahead and as long as you approve this manual update, when we go ahead and create this committee, I think it would be very wise for us to use our ENL coordinator or ENL director as the chairman. So I would put that person, I would make that part of their official duties. And I think it would also be very important for us to use our social worker, Monica, and she would play a pivotal role in our as our liaison with the Shinnecock Nation in ensuring that we are doing those things and being more inclusive. It is actually part of our contract with the Shinnecock Nation that we be more inclusive, that we make sure that we are practicing equity and inclusion and attending a diversity fair each year, which I was registered for the one for last year, and I will be registered for a new one for this year. So we're going to continue down that path and hopefully create this committee. Any questions on that?
No, not from me.
Nope.
Okay, and Bob? No, that's all right. Okay, and the last thing I have in here is about our substitute teachers and the salary increase. And what I'm going to ask, because of the nature of the way this meeting had to go to virtual this week or this month, and I thank you and everyone out there who may be paying attention on one of the other media sites when this is posted. I thank you for understanding why we did this. We did have a positive case today from somebody who had not been in the building since Friday, but just because we had that case, we want to make sure we cut down any possibility of sharing anything that may or may not have taken place in the building as concerns COVID. So we're keeping everybody who's not in the building on a normal basis out of the building And those of us who are in the building, we're happy to keep those folks out. No offense to all of you, but we also don't want you to catch anything, should anything somehow get into our building, which, knock on wood, with the amazing custodial staff we have, our teachers and our students working diligently the way they have been. I just thank everybody because they're doing a great job at making sure that we're all staying safe. But with that said, in discussing our substitute teacher and their salary, a possible salary increase, I'm going to ask to table the rest of this discussion until next month. But what I would share with all of you is this: we're having a great amount of difficulty bringing in substitutes. And it's not just us, it's the entire East End specifically, but all of Long Island is really having a difficult time getting subs to come in, but more so on the East End than everywhere else. And last year we raised our rate from 125 to 150. And there are some districts that are actually paying 165 and then 175 when you've worked 20 days or more. And subs are more apt to go to those districts before they're willing to come to us. We had put together a list of all of these things for you. And unfortunately, in my haste leaving today to get here, I left that list at work. So that's why I'm going to ask that we table this discussion until further notice. But please just think about the possibility of maybe adding a few more dollars to our sub salary to try and entice them to come to us before they go to other districts, because there really is just kind of a small amount of folks out there that we can choose from. And that's all I have in the superintendent's report, and that's more than I've had in quite a while. So I'm going to, at this point, zip it. And if there are no further questions, I will pass it along to Mrs. Sakari and the principal's report.
Thank you, Len. Thank you, Arlette.
Hi, good evening, everyone. So again, thank you, Mr. Skoglovic, for definitely mentioning our PTO. They've been really hardworking as far as being able to provide the meals for our students in pre-K through 8. And it was spectacular to watch, and our teachers definitely made a very nice atmosphere for them in their classrooms rather than in the cafeteria. So that was really nice for our Thanksgiving feast. And also kudos to our PTO for definitely doing the gingerbread houses. The pictures were just amazing and adorable. So if you saw them on Facebook or Twitter, definitely check them out. They were really precious. And thank you so much for bringing us together. We also have our 8th grade students in Mrs. Neal's class. They have written and published their own short stories, which are amazing. The books are fully published and able for you to view. They've been studying author's craft as well as reading many short stories. So you're able, if you see an 8th grader, please go and ask them all about it, because they did an amazing job publishing their books as well. Tomorrow, we're very excited. We're going to be able to have our virtual National Junior Honor Society ceremony. It's been waiting since, I guess, in April. Typically, we do it in 7th grade, but we now know what the circumstances are. So we're able to hold it virtually tomorrow at 8:45. It'll be in the gym, but everyone is welcome to watch the ceremony. And, our 2 advisors, Mrs. Downs and Chrissy Collins, have really worked hard on getting the whole thing to come together. So we're excited to have that tomorrow. Also, congratulations to Nicholas Beaker, Angel Cayuga, and Edgar Diaz-Leal, Marin Gilmartin, Maya Halsey, Ava Lima, Sebastian Morales, Emma Sir, and Kiara Campiola. So those are our inductees for tomorrow. So congratulations. Apparently losing my voice. So also, I just want to also congratulate our student council and National Junior Honor Society students. They worked really hard to put together a food drive and a toy drive. Believe it or not, we were able to collect, even in these uncertain circumstances, over 700 items. So congratulations, Mrs. Cunahan's class, for collecting over 200 items. We were able to deliver them today. with the help of Chris Capablo, our custodian, to the heart of the Hamptons. So they were so excited to receive all of those donations. Thank yous to all of our families and students and our teachers for putting together the items that were collected. Like I said, over 700 items were collected. So kudos to all of you and your hard work. These are definitely challenging times, so it means so much. So that's my principal report.
Wonderful. Thank you, Arlette.
Thanks, Arlette.
Thank you.
All right, any questions from anybody? Okay. If we could now have the business officials report. Who is?
So I'll present Mitch's report since he's not here. I'll begin by saying that on October 7, Harrington Plumbing was called to clear middle school main sewer line stoppage. And that costed us $1,244.60. On October 26th, Harrington Plumbing repair on water main and pump out basement totaled $34.2948. On November 2nd, Harrington Plumbing was called to clear a clogged waste line in the nurse's office, and that costed us $215. On November 7th, Balfour Restoration removed all air scrubbers, fans, and equipment from the basement that was flooded. Job is now complete. November 13th, Harrington Plumbing was called to clear a sluggish toilet in the middle school. The total cost was $430. On November 14th, All Service Electric worked on installing electric to our new AC units in our classrooms. On November 20th, Harrington Plumbing was called to clear a stoppage in the main sewer line in the staff bathroom located in the 88th wing. The total cost of that service was $538. On November 21st, All Service Electric worked on installing new panels and electric for the new AC units. On November 21st, the outside basketball court was striped. November 24th, the vending machine, which we had in 2 locations, was finally removed on November 24th. November 25th, Premier Pest Control treated the school while closed to students. November 25th also, All Service Electric worked on installing electric to the new AC units. November 25th, Thermotech Combustion worked on pressure testing in the AC units. November 25th also, P&M Door installed 7 door closers on exterior doors. The total cost of that was $3,893.34. On November 25th, Harrington Plumbing rehung a urinal falling off the wall. They installed a shut-off valve in the portable for new sinks, relocated the vent lines in the middle school boiler room to gain easier access to the house trap. That cost was $2,333.43. November 30th, the irrigation system was winterized. Total cost for compression rental was $95. On December 5th, All Service Electric continued working on installing electric to the new AC units. They are now 98% complete. And on December 5th, Hampton Fuel / All Island Propane delivered 1,418 gallons of heating oil. So there was a lot done during the month of November and the beginning of December. And that's Mitch's report.
Thank you, Carl.
Okay, we've got a question on the report, so hang on. Go ahead, Bob.
Okay, in this report, you talk about 5 different times we've had problems with the sewer lines. What have they found in these lines that are causing these problems?
Things are being flushed down the toilet that shouldn't be flushed down the toilet. One time it was gloves, other times it was feminine products, and other times it was paper towels. But nothing that was malicious in nature. It was just misunderstandings of what can and can't be flushed. We, of course, don't know who did it, but we don't believe that it was anything malicious.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. One thing I would like to add, I have a firm belief that you are going to see a little bit of a rise in our use of oil this year. The Department of Health has issued that we should be keeping our windows open slightly. So we are keeping the windows open slightly to make sure that we are keeping our buildings safe. But with that keeping of the windows open slightly is a loss of heat. So we are going to see a loss of heat and the probable use of more gas and propane. So just please be prepared for that. By the end of the year, we may see some larger numbers than we're used to.
Thank you, Len.
Fair enough.
Continuing with the business officials report, the residency report is next, and I must say that Mr. Licata continues his due diligence in following up with new enrollees in terms of verifying that the addresses are within the school district's borders, and also following up on proofs. There are currently approximately 5 to 6 proofs that are pending, but since July, Mr. Licata has completed over 70 proofs. So again, he's been working on sending out letters, reminders to parents who've not submitted their information that would complete our files. And that is the residency report.
Thank you, Carl. Any questions?
Nope.
The third item under my report is a response to the auditor's recommendations for year ending June 30th, 2020. If you have a copy of the response that I prepared, you can just pull it out. Essentially, since the report from the auditors in October, if you recall, there was one current recommendation from that audit. And that recommendation was that we should develop a uniform guidance policy and procedures for federal grants compliance. And what that means is that we're getting monies from the federal government, and there is a push now by the feds to audit school districts. And even though, and it's called a single audit report, which districts that are receiving over $500 in federal monies have to file a single audit report. We fortunately don't have that much that's we're receiving, so we don't have to file the report. However, it was recommended by our auditors that we complete this policy and update our procedures to be in compliance, because districts are being audited, and it's only a matter of time before we are audited. Essentially, what our external auditors are saying is that the district has not adopted written procedures for documenting how costs are to be allocated to federal awards, documenting actual time and effort for payroll costs charged to federal awards, cash management procedures to minimize the time elapsed between receipts and disbursements of federal funds, and how to safeguard personally identifiable information. When they talk about federal funds, it's primarily the 611 and 619 grants. These are the special education grants. And in my response at this time to their recommendation, I'm saying that I'm in the process of development this procurement policies and procedures using the New York State ASBO's template, which was developed about a year ago. However, because this process is so complex, because it involves many stakeholders of our district, including Doreen's office, including the principal's office and the superintendent's office, it's going to take some time to complete this process. I have started it, and one or two of my colleagues in other districts have said that's taken them about 6 months to complete. However, because we have to do a response to our recommendation based on the audit within 90 days, we are within the 90-day period, basically saying that we are working on this project and it will be completed when we have all the information in place. And this would satisfy the requirements of the 90-day response. So in addition to the current year comment, which was just that one, there were follow-up comments from the prior year. Essentially, there were two comments, and those included the cafeteria procedures and extracurricular classroom activity funds. For a cafeteria, we were planning to update our point of sale system, but because of COVID and the school closure in March, we were not able to complete that. So that would be put off until next year. Also, the extra classroom activity funds, there was a recommendation that the business office and the advisors, the class advisors, should be reconciling the financials for the student activity funds. We were not able to do that again because of school closures due to COVID. So these are things that we are going to be working on going forward and getting them completed. And that essentially is the response to the auditor's report, which will be filed sometime later this month or early next month. And we will be following up on completing that current year project. Any questions?
Not from me, Carl. Tim or Bob?
Carl, I thought you said in the beginning that it was a $500 federal grant which triggered the compliance effort. Is it just $500 or is it?
No, it's 505. No, it's 500,000, $500,000.
500,000.
Sorry.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure on that.
Yeah, no.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that, Carl. Any new business?
No, sir.
Any old business?
No, sir. Discussed in my regular report.
Okay. And so the policy manual updates, do you want me to just state the titles of these, or how do we?
I can quickly give you a review of what
Okay.
we're talking about here. For the homeless children, we're talking about the change of pronouns from where, he and she to they. In the homeless children regulation, we're changing the words from shall to will. And again, we're not doing these things. We have a BOCES service that goes through all of these and updates us regularly, just so you know where these are coming from. For attendance, the attendance policy is very similar, but it does now include some different things in here to deal with the COVID scenario. We then have pandemic planning, something that we were not used to, but we now have a line that says observing required or recommended social distancing measuring, keeping adequate physical space between people as much as possible, utilizing physical barriers, screening people before or during entry to school, and following required or recommended wearing of face coverings. There's also a part that says staff are transporting students and staff and their return to school after illness and how we're dealing with those things. We also have a policy on online distance and remote learning, which is new, and the equity and inclusion and diversity in education that I spoke about earlier is completely new. So that is important for you to get a good read on.
And the second readings,
The second readings deals with health services that we have in the building and new shots and things of that nature for student health services regulations.
okay. All right. Thank you, Len. Any questions from anybody on that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm assuming there's no PTO report tonight, unless nobody submitted anything, right?
No, sir.
No Tuckahoe Educational Foundation report. I did, one of the things I wanted to mention earlier, the polar bear plunge, which I know Tuckahoe has been very supportive of in past years, did occur to some degree this weekend. They had there were some people that did the plunge. I did the plunge last weekend. But the really nice thing is that they did raise, I think, over $300,000 this year, which is amazing. I think that's more than twice what we had done in years past, which is incredible. So thank you to anybody and everybody in the Tuckahoe School District that volunteered or donated or whatever you did. It was greatly appreciated and greatly needed.
I think the water was a lot warmer last
I
week.
was going to say that.
So I'm just saying that I'm pretty
was
sure the
30
polar
mile an hour
plunge.
winds blowing at you, going into the water and coming out. Okay.
All right. I'm gonna check that water temperature before my donation gets in there.
Let's see here. So no public commentary, or was there anything submitted?
No, I don't have anything.
Okay, thank you, Lori. All right, so I guess we will go into the resolutions, and there are a number of them, a total of 24. There are several, approving payment to Center Riches, part-time. I just, on item number 2, what is a part-time tuition contract, or what was that referencing?
Yeah, we have at the Southampton High School, there are students that attend part-time at both C's and part-time at the school.
Okay, thank you. And so another one with Southampton School District, extracurricular tuition, sports tuition. Let's see, some Gallagher insurance, some personnel issues, family leave, a couple of resignations, and then several appointments, and then a few administrative issues. Did anybody have any questions on any of these? Tim or Bob?
I did not.
Okay. Bob, are you good? Yes? Was that a yes?
Yes, he's good.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so if we are good with them, if somebody could give me a resolution to pass items 1 through 24.
So I'll make a motion that the Board of Trustees approve resolutions numbered 1 through 24.
Second.
Unanimous. All right, well, thank you, everybody. That concludes the regular board meeting. And I'd like to make a motion at 8:13 to conclude the regular board meeting December 14th and go into executive session to discuss contractual matters.
Second.
Yeah, thank you.